am Devi Priyadarshini Nagamanikam, and I would like to start this video with greetings, and I hope you'll be fine, happy and healthy too. And it seems as though almost anybody who is excelled in a field has a touch of being a little bit out of the ordinary, Warren Buffett drinks at least 5 cans of Cokes per day, and Richard Branson drinks 20 cups of tea per day, and while Jeff Bezos has spent $40 million engineering clocks that are expected to outlast human existence. And it's almost like rich you are, the most excusable your bizarre behavior is. And the individual we'll look at today isn't exempt from this rule. Elon Musk is an eccentric multi-billionaire engineering businessman who, despite coming from a poor, abusive household in Pretoria, South Africa, he's slowly becoming the sole individual most trusted with the future of human life. But it certainly hasn't been smooth sailing for Elon Musk, from living on a couch in a rented Silicon Valley office to being 2 days bankruptcy in 2008. It's safe to say that Elon Musk has only just pulled through life by the skin of his teeth. But sometimes, for some unique individuals, that risk pays off the apt reward for them. Anything you want, like cars, homes, business, government, and even power, the ability to travel to space, all of these points will be covered in this video. So I'll cover the full story of Elon Musk. And our story begins in Pretoria, South Africa in 1970. And you might ask, what was so significant about Pretoria in 1970 that grants permission for it to be the birthplace of our story? Well, at the time, not much, but it was actually quite insignificant in the grand scheme of things. But it did happen to be a time and place where two random individuals by the name of Elon Musk and May Haldeman would begin dating. And Elon Musk, an engineer, and May was a model, made an almost impulsive choice to get married because they were quite both lonely. Well, she said in an interview, actually, she was lonely alone in a Cape Town. She wasn't in a happy situation. And Elon Musk's impulsive marriage in 1970, the couple had 3 children, like Kimball, Tosca, and most significantly the Elon Musk, who was born on 28th of June 1971. And that kind of basis for our story on one big family, happy family in South Africa, a successful engineer with a model wife and 3 happy kids. And on the surface, everything was looked amazing. And however, the reality of their happy family turned out to be somewhat a facade. The dynamic was actually quite different behind the scenes. Elon Musk's mother, May Haldeman, said she would be beaten up and suffered that kind of abuse. Turns out that Elon's father and May's husband, Elon Musk, was incredibly and abusive. And she also said when she was married, she was told about 3 times a day that she was boring and stupid and even ugly. And not only was Errol abusive, but also he denied Ellen. He was not interested in bringing Ellen, and some of the most basic things required to begin a career in business, such as a computer. He didn't want to buy a computer and refused to use computers, and said that he would never amount to anything all, and showing that perhaps Errol wasn't all that interested in seeing his kids becoming their own selves. Ellen has stated that in an interview that his father was a terrible human being who carefully thought of plans of evil, and also stated that he had a very violent, unhappy childhood, and and he suffered a lot. And he came out of that and gained a experience of resilience, emotional resilience, and also mentioned that in an interview, like his father had a severe issues rising and signifying the harsh realities of his upbringings. Well, that's probably an argument worth having, because tough upbringing would actually end up being an asset for Ellen's incredible success later in life, giving him the ability to adapt and overcome the most difficult circumstances in his business and even in the personal life too. And but despite being in an abusive household as well as constant bullying at school, Ellen said it has almost been to death, if you would call that bully. It wouldn't be long before Maymus would figure out that her child was something like somewhat of a genius from the age of 3. Really, he just reasoned with her so well, and she didn't know how he could figure out things. She mean he was 3, may realize that there was something special with her son Ellen, and after discovering that he could reason with her and complete complex jobs at an incredible young age of 3, and also stated that he was putting into school a year early, Ellen's mind began exploding with creative ideas at the age of 5 or 6, which was explained on the Joe Rogan podcast. And because it was clear that the other people did not, and their mind wasn't exploding with ideas all the time, it's like Ellen stated, as from that point onwards his mind was constantly coming up with ideas, and which he described as a never-ending explosion that can't be turned off at all. So by this point we could probably agree that Elon Musk was born with somewhat of a creative superpower. So with this in mind, he can some kind of perfect plan to go from a small town in South Africa to a multinational billionaire in a very short period, like no, not really in the beginning, but at last anyway. He said that in an interview that when he was a kid, he didn't really have any grand designs. He mean the reason he started programming computers is because he liked computer games. Actually, obviously he liked computer games, and he plays a lot of computer games at the age of 10. And Elon Musk simply began programming computers as he enjoyed computer games. There was really no extravagant planning at the start of his journey. The somewhat refreshing fact, considering that there is always this feeling that these billionaires have it all figured out from the beginning. But here is where the difference occurred for Elon Musk. After beginning to program computers, he then figured out if he could write better software and sell it, then he could buy better computers. He learned that if he wrote own software and sold it, then he could get more money and buy better computers. So it wasn't really with some grand vision or anything. After learning to code at the age of 10, Elon Musk realized that a magazine by the name of PC and Office Technology, and it's a magazine. It would buy different pieces of software to publish in their magazine. And after making this discovery, Elon decided to create his own piece of gaming software called Blaster, a game somewhat similar to the popular game Space Invaders. This game was then sold to the magazine for a price of $500, and he taught himself how to program computers when he was a kid. He bought his first computer when he was 10, and sold his first commercial program when he was 12. And not exactly a bad start for a 12-year-old looking to pursue programming pathways. And so it's safe to say that from the very beginning, Elon Musk was somewhat born to pursue a difficult technical endeavors, and with the overall goal of a cliche as it sounds, advancing humanity, which would really show its true colors. As Elon Musk finished high school, preparing for the next stage of his life, at the age of 17, Elon Musk moved from his hometown of Pretoria, South Africa to North America to attend Pennsylvania's University. Yes, Pennsylvania's University, eventually graduating with the 2 bachelor degrees, one is in economy and physics, at the age of 26. Now, finishing university with a dual degrees in economics and physics is somewhat of an incredible achievement. But there was an issue. Here is he wasn't in the place that he wanted to, and all about is Ellen had his mind set on somewhere else, a location where he thought he would really thrive. He thought he really wanted to work on a new technology, so he wanted to get a Silicon Valley. When he was growing up, Silicon Valley seemed like some sort of mythical place. Silicon Valley, the place where it was actually all happening, the holy promised land for entrepreneur looking to take a deep dive into the world of tech in 1995. Elon Musk made the move to Silicon Valley. The reason he came out there was actually to work on an energy storage technology. For energy storage technology, especially for electric cars. This is somewhat an insignificant fact now, but will extremely important for later part of this video. After moving to Silicon Valley with a car, computer and $2,000, Elon thought his best path would be to apply for a traditional tech employment, but there was an issue with that. Mainly owing to his location, Silicon Valley, a place was full of thousands of tech guys, all of which competing for a small amount of jobs. At first, he tried to get a job at Netscape because that was the only internet company, and they didn't respond to him. So then he was likely okay, and he can't get a job at the only internet company. Then he better try starting something, and that was the Elon Musk went with in with the old things like if you can't get a job, create your own job. Like he followed the sayings, and he was metaphorically thrown into the deep end. But often deep end is the best area to learn how to swim. And Ellen also stated Ellen also stated what are the things that are most likely to affect the future of humanity, just in at a macro level, and it's just seemed like it would be like the internet and sustainable energy, making like a multiplanetary and genetics and artificial intelligence and which means AI. And after Elon's arrival in Silicon Valley, Elon Musk began to critically think about the areas in tech that would likely affect the future of humanity, while genetics and artificial intelligence and making life multiplanetary were probably out of Elon Musk's 24-year-old experience. One area of tech that he thought he might be able to make an impact on was an area that at the time was barely even an aerial attack. It wasn't monetizable, and it was far from the being an big industry, but would later become one of the most important pieces of daily human life. We are of a course of talking about the internet after having experience writing and selling gaming softwares as a teenager, and Alan had the great general knowledge required to begin writing internet software. And Alan began writing software with a goal of what making useful things happen on the internet, while trying to make useful things happen on the internet, possibly hinting that he had no real idea of what he was trying to create in the beginning. And however, this would change when Elon Musk would create his first piece of saleable internet software, described as a software allowing companies to convert paper and print content into digital content, and then clearly had a money. And this software was the basis for Elon Musk's first company, Zip2, which was created with his brother Kimball. And starting a new tech company would be exciting for any 24-year-old. However, as stated by Elon Musk himself in an interview, he would have no idea how difficult the first company would be, and would end up being having moved from South Africa and still having $100 worth of college debt. Elon Musk was so poor that he was unable to afford both a home and an office for his new company, Zip2. So what was his options here? Options here was he couldn't actually rent both at the same time. It was either an office or an apartment, and since offices were cheaper than the homes, he rented an office space and simply slept on the couch while showering at the local gym. He didn't have any money. In fact, he had negative money, and he had huge student debt actually. So in fact, he couldn't afford a place to stay and an office. So he rented an office instead, because he was actually got a cheaper office, then he could get a place to stay. And then this and this whole scenario might be what Elon Musk later described as the reality kicking experience after starting a new company. He means what tends to happen is, it's a sort of quite exciting for the first several months of starting a company, and then the reality sets in. Okay, then things don't go as well as customers planned, and customers aren't signing up for the new company. The technology or the product isn't working as well as they thought. So anyone who thinks that Elon might have had some somewhat of head start, smooth sailing in the beginning, it seems as that the reality was almost the opposite after starting this first company. Elon and his brother and his friend is actually his mother's friend. Elon, his friend, and Elon, his friend, and his mother's friend, both the things don't go as well as planned, and customers aren't signing up for the new company. The technology or the product isn't working as well as they thought. And so anyone who thinks that Elon might have had some of a head start or a smooth sailing in a beginning, it seems that the reality was almost opposite after starting the first company. And Elon, his brother, and a friend of his mother, and these three salespeople paid a contingency, began to market the product of various news outlets, at achieving small flashes of success here and there. And then they started getting some interest. He mean half of the time be like, what's the internet, even in the Silicon Valley. But then occasionally somebody would bite, and they get some little bit of money from them. And the company then grow and struck deals with bigger clients such as the New York Times. And as the income grew, so did the overall value of the company. And the 4 years of their company, Elon and his brother Kimball would finally reach the golden point that most tech startups could only dream in the beginning. And the acquisition of the business from the bigger company in the February 1999, and 3.5 years after beginning of the development, tech company Compaq acquired Zip2 for a price of $305 million. And actually $305 million. Of that $305 million, 22 million went to Elon Musk, and 15 million went to his brother Kimball. So what did this mean for the subject of our story? Well, Elon had gone from a dude living on a couch in his company office to a multi-millionaire overnight. And Elon's new status of multi-millionaire meant spending a portion of the money on some new toys. Approximately around 8 months after receiving 22 million for the sale of Zip2, Elon made his first television appearance in CNN segment, talking about the lavish life of millionaires in Silicon Valley. And now this was the first time that world got an opportunity to see the younger cocky Elon Musk, and displaying his new 1 million McLaren F1, as well as explaining how he made his millions at such a young age. He also said in an interview that back in 1995 there wasn't very many people on the internet, and certainly nobody was making any money at all, and most people thought that internet was going to be fake. And 1 year after showing his McLaren on the CNN segment, Elon actually crashed it. But all is well that ends up well, because in 2007 the car was repaired and unsold at a profit. Unsurprisingly, considering the car would be worth around $20 million today. But what we are getting a bit ahead of ourselves by talking about Elon's car crash in 2000. Let's cast our mind back to the 1999 documentary once again, and we'll go from there. And now there were two and other things in this CNN segment that were extremely iconic and worth documenting. When talking about Elon's long-term story, firstly, it was mainly a display of how far Elon Musk had come in only 3 short years. Just 3 short years ago, he was showering at the Y and sleeping on the office floor. Now, obviously, he had got $1 million car and quite a few creative and creature comforts, but perhaps the most important and overly significant sections was Elon stating that rather than buying materialistic items such as his 1 million car, he was more interested in building and creating a new company. He could go and buy one of the islands in the Bahamas and turn it into his personal fifth. He was much more interested in trying to build and create a new company rather than buying those materialistic things, even that may be even car or anything like a home, office or anything else. He was very much interested in creating a new company. So what we are going to do is, he said what we are going to do, and he was interested in to transform the traditional banking industry. Yes, it's you heard right, to transform the traditional banking industry. Elon's new goal, somewhat of an ambitious goal considering the size of the banking industry, but after selling Zip2 for around 300 million, he said that his confidence was running sky high, and he was ready for a new challenge. After selling Zip2, he wanted to do something more on the internet, and it seemed to me that there hadn't been all that much innovation in the financial sector in March 1999. And only after selling Zip2, Elon Musk founded X.com, using 10 million from that 22 million received from the sale of his previous company. And this website X.com was a website that would later become known as the now incredibly popular PayPal. But in the beginning, it was simply an unknown website called X.com, accompanied by a bunch of funding and a dream. The basic goal of X.com was for customers to be able to email money to each other rather than having to deal with everything in cash and physical cash. And then we had a little feature which took us about a day, that was the ability to email money from one customer to another. Feature that was relatively unknown at that time, but perhaps the moral or most significant element of Elon Musk's second company was highlighting the fact that second business is always easier than the first. And Ellen had acquired an array of business experience following Zip2 and ultimately leading to smoother sailing the second time. And he had more money, so no more sleeping on the office couch. He knew how to lead a team of employees, so there were less time wasted for Elon Musk to lead a team and organize everything. And wages perhaps most significantly, Ellen had figured out a new method of growing PayPal faster than he would have ever thought of possible. Like one customer will essentially act as a salesperson for you for bringing in other customers. The general setup of PayPal means that when a user would send money to their friend, that friend would have to sign up for a PayPal and automatically be recruited into the system. So what this means is that the more people using PayPal, the faster it would grow. Like increasing the community base for the PayPal, and an excellent exponential growth strategy this is. And it's safe to say that this strategy caused PayPal to absolutely explode. The launch after 1 year, and by the end of 2 years they had a billion customers community base. But like all these things in life, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. As in October 2000, just 1.5 years after creating the company, Elon Musk was fired as CEO from PayPal and his own company. He went on an investment rising trip, and he got back what happened. Well, yeah. And Elon explained that despite marrying his first wife Justin 10 months previously in January 2000, he still hadn't gone on the honeymoon. So he decided he said that in an interview that he decided to leave Silicon Valley and go away for 2 weeks, gotten married earlier than the year, and not had any vacation or honeymoon anything. So it's a kind of a combined financial trip with / honeymoon. Yeah. The problem with this is it was at a time when PayPal had multiple major problems underway, causing many key individuals higher levels of stress. While Elon was on his holiday, he returned to find that this position as a CEO had been replaced by another key individual in the company. There was just a lot of worry, and that caused the management team to decide that he wasn't the right guy to run the company. Not exactly the best scenario for Elon Musk. However, things always seem to work themselves out in the long run for Elon Musk. And because in 2002, eBay purchased PayPal for $1.5 million, with Elon Musk receiving like around 165 million from the purchase. And this whole situation led Elon Musk to patch up things with the former team that fired him as CEO, and good relations with former business partners was exactly what he needed, as his next endeavor beginning in 2003 would be so ambitious, and that he would need every shroud of good fortune that he could manage. And he thought global warming is a very serious issue, and it's something that we have to address, and the only way to address that is to come up with a car that doesn't add carbon emissions, especially the carbon emissions, to the environment. And to do with this, the electric vehicles in 2003, a year where Elon Musk would get involved in the company that he believed would change the course of humanity. A company dedicated to the environment, dedicated to the best customer experience, and dedicated to success. But most certainly a company that would have to take a stopover in hell in order to get there. We are of course talking about the new incredibly popular Tesla Motors. Now, a common misconception about Tesla is that Elon Musk actually started it. This isn't true. Actually, Elon Musk actually started it. Isn't that true? The company was started by two lesser known engineers who simply had a vision for transport using that was better for the environment. Let's cast our mind back a little bit here. Do you remember when we mentioned towards that the Elon Musk actually moved Silicon Valley to develop a new technology, um, especially like energy technologies for electric cars and storage technology, like electric storage technology for electric cars especially. Yes, and the reason he came out to Stanford was actually to work on energy storage technology. And after first moving to Silicon Valley, Ellen thought on working for an internet company was a better opportunity. Because of the timing in 1995, there was a trend in working in an internet company. He thought, well, he can either work on a electric vehicle technology and do my PhD at Stanford, and he thought, well, he can either work on an electric vehicle technology or do his PhD at Stanford and watch the internet get built. Watch how the internet get built, or he could put his studies on hold or try to be part of the internet. But by 2003, the internet was significantly more mainstream, and perhaps Elon wanted to come back to his dream of building electric cars. If the big car companies are not going to create electric cars by themselves, then it's necessary to create a startup to do electric cars. For this reason, Elon decided to provide Tesla with $6.5 million worth of funding in February 2004. And approximately 8 months after the company was created, ultimately resulting in Elon Musk being appointed as the chairman of the company between 2004 and 2008. Elon Musk and the team at Tesla relentlessly worked on producing their first car, Tesla Roadster, which was unveiled in 2006. 2 years after Elon Musk began involvement in the company, Sebastian Blanco said he was there for Autoblog, Green and Netscape.com. There were at the unveiling of the Tesla Roadster. The car was released to the market in 2008. Incredibly exciting for the company. However, Elon Musk would have never been able to predict how difficult of a year 2008 would end up being for him. For 2008 is not a good time to be a car company, especially a startup car company, and especially an electric car company that was like stupidity squared. The global financial crisis and economic downturn that would end up challenging even the most sophisticated in the business world, and economic downturns generally challenge car companies more than any other company, as when people don't have much more money, buying a $100,000 electric car isn't usually at the top of the financial budget. For this reason, just because Christmas of 2008, Tesla was about 2 or 3 days away from bankruptcy. In fact, at the end of 2008, they were only a few days from bankruptcy. It was literally 2 or 3 days. Maybe Tesla alongside another company created by Elon called SpaceX. It was another company, and which will be discussed later, where both given a success probability about 10, and each he gave basically both SpaceX and Tesla from the beginning a probability of less than 10% of likely to succeed. And with Elon Musk saying that he wouldn't even let his friends invest in the company as he didn't want to lose their money. And then on the top of all this, in 2008 would be the same year when Elon Musk's first marriage would come to an end. And Justin Musk, Elon Musk's first wife, explained that she felt as though she had become nothing besides trophy wife, also claiming that Elon would constantly put her down for nothing doing, and as well as he did possibly a problem stemming from their equal social status in university, but huge differentiation in 10 years later. Following the divorce with Justin, Elon Musk then proposed a British actor at name Tawla, and after dating for only 10 days. However, by 2013, this relationship had also resulted in divorce. And but things weren't all that bad on the relationship. Friend, Elon Musk appeared and Elon Musk was appeared but things weren't all that bad on that relationship. From Elon Musk appeared to be having serious problems, but by 2013 the business side of the things was absolutely booming with the global financial crisis. Somewhat of the distant memory in Tesla stock increasing by around around 450% between the start and the end of 2013. Things were looking up so much, so the struggles of the Tesla were put on the back burner, while one of the Elon's more ambitious goals began to become more of the priority. What he really want to try to achieve here is to make Mars seem possible, make it seem as though it's something that we can do it in our lifetimes. In September 2016, Elon Musk announced that getting humans to Mars was officially one of his main goals. Well, in the case of SpaceX, he just kept wondering why we are not making progress towards sending people to Mars. Remember, we remember previously mentioned that Elon had a company by the name of SpaceX. Well, SpaceX was founded in 2002 after Elon realized how expensive it was to purchase space travel rockets in an open market, saying that he could make them for about 3% of the price. The fundamental issue is actually the cost of access to space. Actually, the fundamental issue is right. Actually, the cost is not affordable, and rockets were super expensive and very much expensive, and the cost per pound a kilogram to orbit had actually gone up over the years. And not down, the goal of the company was to make cheap rockets and sell them to both private purchasers as well as the government. Now, while the business side of the company was kind of cool, the ultimate goal for Elon ever since 2001 was colonizing Mars, which even has a set date also, 2024. After landing humans on Mars in 2024, Elon's next goal is to cut the cost of Mars trip to the same price as the average US house price, around $200,000, hopefully inciting people to move to Mars permanently. Elon stated in an interview that when it's around $200,000, that the probability of establishing self-esteem civilization is very high. And Elon has since passively hinted that getting people to Mars is currently his number one priority, ultimately displaying his commitment to making life multiplanetary. He said in an interview that does it really make sense for him to spend time on the designing and building a house, or should he be allocating the time to getting us to Mars? He was interested to do that later, and the later part, which is sending people and establishing human civilization in the Mars. And coming from a wealthy, well brought up background, requirement to make a change in the world, when asked, do you conform to the rules of the society to be a good human being, or there are limitations for where your imagination can take reality? Elon Musk doesn't seem to think so. He set the example. Just because he might come from an abusive household in Pretoria, South Africa, doesn't mean you can't restructure the reality that you are living from living from where nobody, from the stage of nobody to a programmer, and then to the engineer, and then finally to the man who actually sole mission has become ensuring the future of human existence using some kind of futuristic piece of technology that none of us can even conceptualize at the moment. And if that's the case, I want you to remember that all of this started with one individual, an individual who just wanted to make the world a better place, an individual who upon birth wasn't much different to you or I, an individual who put humanity before himself, and that's Elon Musk. And Elon Musk has also had very much influence in the crypto market, like he had a knowledge of digitalizing currencies, and also interested in investing cryptocurrencies, and he also have a futuristic plan of making a world with a complete digital currency. And thank you.